Let's talk a little bit about how to create commands. If you are a Windows user and you know how to press Alt F4, for example, to close an application, you're going to do the same thing on your insideONE. Now you might ask yourself, I don't have an Alt key. I don't have an F4 key because you didn't tell me where they are. So where are these invisible keys? Well, they're not really invisible keys. They're commands that you create with the Braille keyboard. So remember earlier when we talked about 9 being the left space bar and 0 being the right space bar? If I want to press Alt, I would press A with .0 or the right space bar, and it would say Alt. If I want to press Control, I would press C with the right space bar together, and that will press Control. So for example, if I wanted to print something out, I would press C0 and then I would release those keys to activate Control. And then I would press the letter P to bring up the print dialog. And this assumes that I am in WordPad or some word processor that I can print from.
What if you wanted to go into WordPad's file menu?
I can press Alt and then the letter F for file menu. So 0 with A for Alt and then the letter F for the file menu. Now, you might be asking yourself, okay, you mentioned Alt F4. So you told me how to create Alt. Now how do I do F4? So let's go back to the left space bar. So you create a function key by pressing the left space bar with A through L, F1 through F12. So to create Alt F4, I would press A0 and then I would press 9D and that will do Alt F4. Let's try this, shall we? So I'm going to press Alt.
Alt pressed. WordPad dialog. Do you want to save changes to document? Save button Alt plus S.
I don't want to. So I can either press the Tab key, which is T with 0, or I can press Shift Tab, which is 9 with T. So that's how you can either Tab or Shift Tab. However, I can also press Tab or Shift Tab by swiping across the bottom slider with 2 fingers.
Don't save button Alt plus N.
And I can do a Shift Tab.
Save button Alt plus S.
By swiping to the left with 2 fingers on the bottom slider. So let's go back to Don't Save because I don't want to.
Don't save button Alt plus N.
Double tap on the right slider with 1 finger, or I can press .8.
Desktop list. WordPad 2 of 15.
So now we're sitting on the desktop. But what if we want to search for an application using the Windows search box?
We can press the Windows key like we would on a regular keyboard. Now, this is a little bit too much for this getting started guide, but there are multiple ways to do the same thing, just like on Windows. So in order to bring up the start menu, you would press .35680. Basically, you drop the W. This is all in the user's guide. It's in the audio tutorial that you have access to as well. So let's just try that really quickly. .35680.
Start window. Search window. Search box edit blank.
So now I'm going to press space with E to get off of the Windows Start menu because I may have pressed that by mistake or I don't want to do an actual search. But this is how you would open an application by pressing .35680 with 0. That will bring up the Start menu. That is the command to directly access the Start menu. So I'm going to press space with E to exit out of the Start menu.
Top list. WordPad 2 of 15.
And we are back at the desktop, and it says Desktop List WordPad 2 of 15 on the Braille display. Because I pressed Windows from the desktop, it put me back to the desktop, but that might not be a surefire way to do it. For example, if you're in WordPad and you press space with E because you accidentally hit the Windows key to bring up the Start menu, it would take you back into WordPad.
Now that you know a little bit about how to use Braille typing on the device, let's talk a little bit about volume adjustment and speed adjustment for your speech. You'll use the 2 volume keys directly below the power button on the right-hand side of the device. The one furthest from you turns the volume up, and pressing the one closer to you turns the volume down.
So let's experiment. So I'm going to press the volume down.
Volume level 36.
And volume up.
Volume level 38.
So that's how you change the volume. There are also hotkeys that you can learn more about that will change the volume. If for whatever reason you're on the Braille keyboard and you don't want to reach over to change the volume of your machine, you can do that as well. One more command that I want to show you is how to turn on what's sometimes referred to as the screen curtain. So if you're on a bus and you don't want people to see what you're doing, you can press and hold the little round button in the upper left-hand corner.
Screen off.
So turn the screen off if I press and hold it again.
Screen on.
It's about 3 to 5 seconds and you get the announcement of screen off and screen on with the ascending and descending tones.
In terms of the speech rate of your screen readers, these are controlled via your screen reader's settings. So there's no quick command that allows you to seamlessly and quickly change your speech rate no matter which screen reader you're using. So you will use your screen reader's specific settings to change your speech rate.
So now I'm on the desktop. I can tab and shift tab to the different portions of Windows. For example, the start menu or the taskbar or what have you. So I'm going to do that. And to do that again, I can either use right space bar with T to go forward or left space bar with T to go backward. Again, left is 9 and right is 0.
Start button. Type here to search button. Talk to Cortana button. Task view button. Running applications toolbar. File Explorer 1 running window button submenu. Notification chevron button. Show desktop button. Desktop list. WordPad 2 of 15.
And we're back to the desktop.
You can also use two fingers moving left to shift tab or right to tab on the bottom slider for the same results.
Absolutely correct.
If you want to go specifically to the taskbar, you'll use the same command that you would use on any computer, Windows T.
Left Windows pressed. Running applications toolbar. File Explorer 1 running window button submenu.
Let's say that you are primarily a Braille reader. The speech is okay, but it's not your favorite method to read. If you want to pan your Braille display, remember you have 32 cells of Braille available to you, you'll just use one finger, moving right to advance the display and left to move the display backward on the bottom slider.